So it appears that the detector is off, which is probably not the best thing, and then the lights don't work. So if you're in the kitchen at night, then that's probably not safe. Also, so we come here and there is actually no screen on the window, which can be bad for elopement purposes. You could get out of the window, somebody could get in easily, especially with this being the first level window. As we go up the steps, the lights do work. However, there are scooters that could lead to falling. The steps are pretty clear, actually. Did not mean to turn that off. Okay, so while I try and flip this light, this light actually works, and this is a bathroom, so the bathroom seems to be okay. I do realize that there is chemicals out, and chemicals, we could actually put those maybe in a better place, or maybe high up, so that they're out of reach and that they're not a hazard to easily be sprayed. Maybe could be mistaken sometimes if our client has low vision for something else that they may need. Also, if you listen closely, you can hear that the smoke detector is beeping, meaning that I actually have found it, and it is right here, and actually needs to be pushed back up. But the smoke detector may need new batteries, which could be a hazard, because you wouldn't want, you know, there to be some kind of fire and then the smoke detectors to not work for you, because that is how we know that there's a fire. In case you sleep, they don't go off and things like that. This hallway light actually is not working as I try to flip it, so that would need to be replaced, because we need to keep all walkways clear and make sure that there is enough light. Also, as I come back down the steps again, we can see that there's scooters and balls and toys, which could easily have us trip if we miss a step or anything like that. So that's something that could be moved around and maybe placed in a closet or something. Now, as I come outside, the porch light is not working, so that would need to be replaced, especially if you're coming outside at night. If you're coming outside at night, that could be a hazard. Doorbell does work, however, there is no rail along the outside of the house, which is a fall and slip hazard, because if there's ice or there's any kind of can you please, if there's ice or any kind of inclement weather, there's a step that you would need to step down, and there's another step that you would need to step down, and there is no rails to prevent you from falling or keeping your balance or anything like that. So you definitely would need some rails. As we come in the kitchen, there is there is drain traps to make sure that not too much is going down the sink, and also you have drainage to make sure that there's no pile up that could cause bacteria or food to come back up. Also, on the stove, there is knobs, and when you turn it off, there's a click that you will hear. There's one there, and there's one there, just to make sure that you hear that click when you turn the stove off, to make sure that the stove is off, because it is an electric stove. Okay, so after conducting a home safety checklist that we have here, I do have some recommendations that I noted that I also spoke on in the video. So things like making sure the walkways are clear from all clutter, and I also have some handouts that will help our client to understand why this would need to be done in the home. I also have another handout that I will attach at the end of the session, but just making sure that the walkways are clear. Also getting those screens installed on windows for elopement purposes, and also for intruder purposes. You wouldn't want anybody to come in. And also getting out if our client is older and may have any cognitive issues. The locks on the door seem to be pretty sturdy. I did realize or observe that there was no bench or seating area outside on the front. So maybe if you're coming in and you need to take a breath or you need to sit down before unlocking the door, maybe you just can't really get that extra step into the house yet because you're tired. Also, there are 2 steps and no rails on the outside. So rails would be beneficial to be installed. Lastly, the lighting. There were a few light bulbs that could be replaced, and also the smoke detectors, which need batteries. I think that pretty much sums up the checklist. Also in the bathroom looked fine. However, there were no mats for the tub, and I think that the mats will work well to help get that balance and that grip when we get in the tub. Initially, it could be a little slippery getting in, so those mats definitely help to keep us sturdy and stable when we take that initial step into the bathtub.